Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Lilybell Gaming, and I make gotcha videos, and sometimes I do this. This topic has kind of been on my mind recently because of the new FNAF movie came out, like, a month ago. I've been binging a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's gameplay videos, and a lot of Garten like, critique videos, because people rambling about Garten is funny because I hate it too. So today I'm going to be also rambling about how much I kind of don't really like mascot horror, but also love mascot horror at the same time. Also, in the background of this video, I will be drawing my mascot horror OC, Amy Ice Cream. If you want to know more about her, too bad, I don't have anything. She was a serious OC at first, and then I just made her a parody, Poppy from Poppy Playtime. Alright, starting off with the obvious. Five Nights at frickin' Freddy's.
How long do we have?
5 nights.
Five Nights at Freddy's is one of my favorite games, like, of all time, next to Doki Doki Literature Club. Guess which era of video games I was prominently a part of? Five Nights at Freddy's is one of the best when it comes to gameplay, and one of the worst when it comes to lore, because, oh my god, Garten of Banban and Five Nights at Freddy's are the worst when it comes to lore. They're both convoluted, make no sense. Both of them were made with no lore in mind. Garten of Banban especially was made with lore in mind, but money more so. Five Nights at Freddy's was made to fail, which is why when it blew up, there was no lore to begin with, because it was made to fail, not made with lore in mind. So I think you have MatPat to thank for the convoluted story we currently have. I'm thankful that the movies are kind of taking what we have and making it make a little more sense. It makes more sense now. Like, it doesn't feel all over the place. I am mad that they made her name Vanessa Afton and not Elizabeth. Anyway, that is the problem with most mascot horror nowadays, is the lore sucks. It sucks. The lore sucks. It's too complicated and doesn't make sense. I'm tired of having to go out of my way to learn about it. Bendy and the Ink Machine, Five Nights at Freddy's, Garten of Banban, Poppy Playtime. I am so tired of all of these games having such complicated lore. Can we just have a straightforward story? That is why most of the most successful movies are successful, because their stories are simple, they're straightforward, and you can understand it by the end of the movie or game or whatever without having to go on a YouTube or TikTok or whatever other platform to watch theory videos of people explaining the lore of what we think the lore could be. And that can work, but example, Gravity Falls. You can watch the show and enjoy it and have a straightforward, simple plot without having to go onto YouTube and try and figure out what the hell is going on. You can if you want, because there is more. If you want more content, you can go watch theory videos and buy the books, but if you just want a simple, straightforward plot, just watch the show and move on. That's why I like things like Gravity Falls, where it has a straightforward story, and you can enjoy it without having to go onto YouTube or whatever to watch however long, like hour-long videos of people explaining the story. If you have to have another person explain the story to you, it's probably not a successful story. Not to mention, media literacy is dead. Not fully, but I did have an argument with some of my friends that Zootopia and Wicked are about minorities. I said that it's about minorities, that it's an allegory, it's a fable, basically. And they said, no, it's just about talking animals. How can an allegory be shoved down your throat and you still choke on it? Because I was able to swallow the story, but apparently you weren't. And in my opinion, I think it's kind of ruining the art of storytelling. I love when video games have lore, but I hate when the lore is half-assed or fans come up with better lore than what's actually part of the lore. My theory of Five Nights at Freddy's is that Scott Cawthon made this game. This part is true. He made the game because he was a failing indie developer, and he made Five Nights at Freddy's to fail. He made it with no lore in mind. It's just a stupid, silly little horror game. But people picked it up and thought, there's gotta be more to it. There's gotta be lore, you know? And people started making theories. Scott Cawthon found out about it and was like, they're catching on to what little lore I had. So I've got to create an entirely new story because I want people to still continue making theories and I can still be relevant and continue making money in games. That is why Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't make sense. Because Scott Cawthon created the lore on the spot. He lost the plot. He lost what little plot we had from the start. And then there's Garten of Banban, which doesn't have any lore. I'm telling you, there is no lore. Whatever lore you think there is none at all. Poppy Playtime probably has a really good story. I stopped following it after Chapter 1 and just continued watching gameplay because the game is absolutely gorgeous. I can't even tell you if things like Kanito Pet or anything have lore because it doesn't feel like it does. It just feels like a bait you into getting the game. Kanito Pet would be so much better if it wasn't a horror game. Like, I would adore the game if it wasn't a horror game. Doki Doki Literature Club, Bendy and the Ink Machine, like, all these mascot horror games are so good, but feel like the lore isn't there. Doki Doki you can follow pretty well. I mean, there's nothing you can really theorize about. It's pretty obvious what it is. Bendy and the Ink Machine, again, lore not there. Lore doesn't need to be there. The game is great on its own. I like the idea, the concept they had, but then it just went off the rails and now I'm confused. Horror games can be good. You just have to do them right. You have to do them well. You know what? I'm gonna give you guys some tips on how to make a good horror game. I want to start this video off with I have a lot of writing experience. I do not have any credentials or anything. I'm just a viewer who wants good stuff. Alright, starting off with write a coherent story before you start working on the game. If you plan on having a story, please write out the story before you start implementing things into the game that have to do with lore. Don't make a million characters for us to have to keep up with. I'm looking at you, Poppy Playtime and Garten of Banban, and Five Nights at Freddy's. Stop giving us so many characters to have to keep up with. Have a small cast of characters. You can introduce a new character every chapter if you must, but you don't need a gazillion characters every chapter. You don't need a million characters in your game, because now the wiki page is going to be a gazillion pages long because you have a gazillion characters. Yes, I know I'm a Has-Been Hotel fan saying this. I don't care. I still stand by my point. Second, jump scares don't work anymore. We have figured that out. They don't work anymore. You can make jump scares, but they have to be good jump scares, and your music and sound effects have to make it actually spooky and unsettling. But when you just have a jump scare to cop out any kind of scary stuff, it doesn't work anymore. We have figured that out. It's been over 10 years, and it doesn't work anymore. Please stop writing Big Boss Man killed children or kidnapped children and stuffed them into toys, animatronics, whatever. It's been done. It's overused. It's predictable. Give me something new. Give me something new. I don't care about these kids stuck in a computer, stuck in an animatronic, stuck in a toy, possessing this, possessing that. They're children, and my empathy leaves because it's been done before and I'm tired of it. Oh no, Timmy got stuck in a well and now he possesses this toy named Thomas. Okay, I don't care. Tommy is not a... You need to write better characters. Please, I beg. Be original. Come up with something new. Everything's been done before, but come up with something that isn't dead kid possesses toy, animatronic, whatever. Okay? Please, I beg. And lastly, make your characters appealing, please. For the love of God. Please make your characters appealing. Please make your characters easy to look at. Rainbow Friends, Garten of Ban, like you guys all have really ugly character designs. Five Nights at Freddy's, dare I say, they have some pretty ugly character designs. But you know what? In my opinion, I think it works because if you style them well, it works. Hot take, the best mascot horror designs? Dandy's World. Not when it comes to lore. I don't think they don't match the decade they're supposed to be a part of, but they are adorable and appealing to the eye, and I love it. I'm not a Dandy's World fan, by the way. I just like the character designs. Alright, this video is getting longer than intended. Um, Let me know what your favorite mascot horror game is in the comments down below. Alright, bye. I still don't have an outro.